time. Let me tell a story. Once there was a young man who said to himself, this story about everybody having to die, that's not for me. I'm going to find a place where nobody ever dies. And so he said goodbye to his parents and his family, and he set off on a journey. And after several months, he met an old man with a beard down to here, wheeling rocks in a wheelbarrow off a mountain. And he says to the old man, do you know that place where nobody ever dies? The old man says, stay with me, and you won't die until I have carted away in my wheelbarrow all this mountain. How long will that take? Oh, at least 100 years. No, said the young man. I'm going to find that place where nobody ever dies. And he travels on. And he meets a second old man with a beard down to here. This old man is on the edge of a forest that seems to go on forever and ever. And he's cutting branches off a tree. The young man says, I'm looking for that place where nobody ever dies. Stay with me, and you won't die until I've cut off the branches of every tree in this forest. How long will that take? At least 200 years. No. I'm looking for that place where nobody ever dies. And he goes on. And he meets a third old man with a beard down to his knees. And this old man is watching a duck drinking seawater from an ocean. Do you know that place where nobody ever dies? And the old man says, stay with me and you won't die until the duck has drunk the whole ocean. How long will that take? Oh, at least 300 years, and who wants to live longer than that? But the young man went on. And he came to a castle, a palace. The door opened, and there was an old man with a beard reaching right down to his toes. I'm looking for that place where nobody ever dies. The old man said, you found it. Can I come in? Yes, I would be glad, very glad, of company. And time passes. And one day the young man says to the old man in the castle, you know, I'd like to go back. Just for a moment. I won't stay. I just want to go back to see my parents or my family. And the old man says, but centuries have passed. They're all dead. Yes, but still, I'd like to go back if only to see the town where I was born. And the old man says, all right, but follow my instructions very carefully. You go to the stable, you take my white horse, who is as fast as the wind. But you never get off that horse. If you get off that horse, you'll die. The young man gets on the horse, and he comes to where the sea was, where the duck was drinking the seawater. And now it is as dry as a prairie, and a little heap of white bones. The old man. And the young man says, how right I was not to stop there. And he goes on, and he comes to where the forest was. And the forest now is pasture land, no trees left. And he goes on, and he comes to where the mountain was. And the mountain is now as flat as a plain. And each time he says to himself, how right I was not to have stopped there. And then he arrives at the town where he was born. And he recognizes nothing. So the only thing to do is for him to return. And he begins the return journey, and halfway, towards nightfall, on the road, he sees a cart drawn by an ox. And the cart is full of used pairs of boots and shoes. And as he passes the carter says to him, stop, stop. Please get down and help me, because the wheel of my cart is stuck in the mud. And the young man says, no, I'm in a hurry. I can't stop, and I can't get off my horse. And the carter says, look, it'll be night in a moment. Night's falling. Please help me. And out of pity, the young man gets off his horse. And before his second foot is out of the stirrup, The carter grasps him by the arm and says, "Do you know who I am? I am death. And you see all those shoes in the cart? Those are all the shoes I have worn out chasing you. But now I have found you, because nobody can escape me."